Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by my summary co-host, Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you? It is summer.
It is summer. Well, it's kind of summer. Technically, it is still spring.
You're right.
Technically.
Because it's like, what, June 22nd?
Yeah, but it's also 104 degrees outside.
Yeah. So like summer starts here in Phoenix, I would say around April.
Yeah, it's
late April.
See, I'm okay with the heat though. It's funny. In our new neighborhood, I just met a new friend, and she's from Chicago originally. And I asked her if she'd gone to one of the public pools here with her kids, and she's like, "No, it's too hot." And I'm like,
oh, girl.
But it's just the act of being outside here during the summer that is still bothering her. Whereas like us who've lived in Arizona for a while, we're like, oh, it's only 110.
I know,
We're
right?
good.
Like, oh no, where else in the
good.
country you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's 100 degrees. It's jeans weather.
It's jeans. I wear jeans every day during the summer.
I can't. But you know what I do love about our pools? And we did not have this when I grew up in the Midwest. The pools out here, when my kids were little, I convinced them they were the water parks.
Really?
Well, because our city pools here are like, they have water slides,
Our
lazy
city pools
rivers.
are insane
And they're
here.
$1.
Like,
if you live in the city, it's like $1.50 if you live outside of the city.
Yeah, and I don't even know if this is true in Phoenix proper, but in the suburbia areas like Gilbert and Chandler where we live, the pools are insane. Like,
oh, yeah.
They're not like that in Tucson where I grew up 2 hours south of here, because they're just a regular pool. Like, you're lucky if you go and there's a diving board.
Yeah, we were talking about Stranger Things earlier because my family, we're big Stranger Things fans. And we're like, yeah, that pool that they had in season 3, the city pool, that was our city pool. Just a big rectangle. Everybody went there and like, that's all you had.
That's all you
all you
had.
had.
Yeah, and now we have a lazy river. One has inner tubes down the street. Like, 3 slides, a whirlpool kind of thing where you go in, it like circles you around.
Oh, and then there's also the kiddie play area too.
Oh, yeah, the splash pad with the beach entry.
Entrance?
Yeah, and this is all for the regular public pool admission of
$1.
$1. It's insane. Like, come to Chandler.
And you know what? I would say that is the one good thing about out here. I mean, like in the summer, you'll get in your car and you will get second-degree burns if your seatbelt metal part touches your skin.
Yeah.
But hey, we can get to a cool pool for $1.
We can get to a cool pool for
it's
$1.
worth it.
Yeah. It's all about like finding the time, Bree, to get to a cool pool. We're talking about time today and time management.
We are.
And I hated time management. I do not hold that back, especially in our program, Calm and Happy Parenting, and the coaching support we do for it. We do this regular time blocking every single week. And time management is something that I push back against for so long because I'm like, this is just one extra thing for me to do. I suck at it. I'm not going to do it. And then when I started 3 or 4 years ago, just with my business, I fell in love because I got so much done without all the anxiety that I was missing something.
Yeah, I think the mental hurdle I have is that I feel like I don't like somebody telling me what I have to do. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But then what happens is a day or two later, or by the end of the week, I'm like, crap, I had like X, Y, and Z that absolutely had to get done, and I didn't do them because they were hard, like all of us. Like, I put it off because it was hard. And if it was on there, I could kind of like be like, no, it's there, I need to stick to it. I do feel better and more productive when I do my time blocking.
Well, with change, it's always the pain of it has to be greater than the reward. And I think with me, I got to the point where it was too painful every week just to go through like, at the end of the week and look back and be like, I didn't get anything done. Like, what did I do with my time? And feeling all of that guilt and all that that shame, which caused me to be a lover of time blocking, which we're going to talk about today and which is not boring.
Yes,
Stay with us.
Stay with us. We have got it whittled down to like 4 major parts to have this done super quick. And honestly, by the time you're done listening to this, send us an email if you are not a fan. Tell us if you are like, nope, it did not sell me. Because I honestly think we're going to get even the hardest sales done with this one.
We're gonna dig into time blocking right now.
This episode of the No Guilt Mom podcast is brought to you by
our masterclass, The 5 Mistakes That Are Keeping Your Family from Helping Out. It is quick. It is fun. You can sign up for any time that you want. And we are going to go through the things that parents do that we've been told we should do to get our kids to do more in the house, to do more chores, but that don't work, and actually go against neuroscience and go against behavior and how to fix those. So go to our website, noguiltmom.com/registration-5-mistakes. Sign up for a time that works for you. And now on with the show.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast.
Okay, we need to seriously talk about this whole time blocking thing and time management for those of us that suck at it.
Yes, and did I teach you time blocking? Or am I the first one who did it?
You did.
Aw.
And you're the one who tries to keep me to it.
Yes.
Because we both recognize that when it is done, things do get done better. And you know what is really funny too? I find that I encourage my kids to do it. Even though I'm not always the best at doing it myself.
You know what?
I do encourage them.
It is the hard thing in parenting because we think that we know all these things that make our kids' lives easier, but if we don't put them into place ourselves, like it'll never gain traction with our kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I fall into that trap all the time. I'm like, you should eat healthier. And then I'm like, let me take these salted caramels out of the pantry and put 10 in my mouth. And
that's me too with the whole like, you should be doing more things. You know, it's summer break. And then I'm like, it's too hot. I'm going to sit on the couch like a sloth and just binge all of Stranger Things.
Yeah. It works with chores too. My husband and I get into these conversations and he's like, yeah, they leave the dishes on the counter and they don't do them right away. And I'm looking here at this sink of dishes that is his job to clean, like he does it, and I just bring up very gently, I'm like, well, you know sometimes you get tired too and work gets really stressful, and he immediately realizes like what's going on and what he said, and he's like, well, I am just more important. And he's joking, of course.
I love that. Yeah, no, Miguel does a good job of helping me like stick with it too. I'll be like, all right, got to get this done, got to get that done. And he'll be like, he'll have something else going on. And he'll be like, okay, I'm going to do my vacuuming. And I'm like, well, it's okay if you do it later. He's like, no, we need to show the kids by example. It's important to do them even if you're busy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'll go do my cleaning in the bathroom.
It is. It's super hard though. But if you want your kids to be better organized and manage your time better, you don't even have to worry about nagging and reminding them. All you have to do is work on yourself and you're going to see automatically their time management gets better. My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org.
Hey, Aubrey here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
So this episode is going to be so great for you. So let's get into the first thing.
Yes.
What's the first thing we do, Brie?
First thing we're going to do is just get everything dumped right out. We do what was called a brain dump, where you just have everything that you let out on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. And usually we play songs while we do this.
Oh, yes. That's my favorite. Like, okay, so again, if you are like us, like I'm a huge auditory person. So that's what helps keep me focused. I could set a timer on my phone, and I can tell you that every time that timer goes off, I'll hit snooze, snooze. But if I have music, it actually does do better, and I can kind of keep myself reined in.
Well, in Calm and Happy Parenting and our balance support, we do this every Friday, and it's us on Zoom. And I just put my Spotify right up to the microphone, and we're here dancing. So at the end of the brain dump, like it's usually 5 minutes for the brain dump to get everything out.
Yes.
And you will see all of us at the end, we're like, back streets, back. Oh, and we're here like,
it makes it fun. It
Yeah.
makes it fun.
Mm-hmm. It does make it fun. And it takes everything that's kind of swirling in your head. My friend Ruth Sukup, she likes to call it all the mini cyclones going in your head. It takes them, it calms them down, it puts them on paper, where then you could see exactly what you're dealing with.
Right. And what I do like about that too is that sometimes when you're doing the brain dump, you can see if, oh goodness, there is no way that can all get done in the time I have. Mm-hmm. So then you're able to actually look at it and be like, okay, gonna have to prioritize.
Yes.
This whole reorganizing all the closets in the house this week probably ain't gonna happen.
And the prioritization is really where the magic comes in, because we have these goals. All of us have these goals. A goal I'm working on right now is my unicorn time, where I'm going to go to aerial classes and I want to get that in. And then I have work goals too that are really important. So we start 3 lists. We start the A list, the B list, and the C list. And the A is those things relating directly to your goal.
So I think the most important thing to do, like, so you do your brain dump, and then you got to figure out what is the thing this week that you definitely want to get done, especially if you're using this in a non-work type thing.
That
right?
relates to your goal. You have to put it to your goal, because if not, we will fill in that time with all of these other little things that we think are important and never get that forward momentum to the things we actually want to accomplish.
So let's take a couple seconds and share some goals that you might have that are not work related for people that are listening to this that are going to use it in a non-work setup.
Every month in our Calm and Happy Parenting, we do a goal. And my personal goal was to journal at least 3 times a week, like journal out my feelings. I know that's really great for mental health. It puts me in a sane position, but I always forget to do it. So in my A category, I put on there journal 10 minutes a day. So I knew that as soon as we went into the calendar, I would make sure that went in first.
Yeah. And I think for me, one of the ones that I had was trying to do a little bit more exercise during the week. Actually, my big thing was like when I start working, I don't tend to stop. And you know this, like you see me, we're all just be like, oh, I forgot to eat lunch and it's 4:00. So I try to stop at least in the middle of my day and go do something for 10 minutes that is not related to being at my desk. But you also had a good one. You mentioned that another goal you had is working on unicorn time.
Yeah.
And another goal you might have is I want to make sure that I get to, I know it sounds boring, but a lot of us got to get it done. And I kind of enjoy it when I start doing it. I got to organize the space in the house. I want to make sure I can declutter the kitchen. I don't know. Different things like that could be your main goal.
Yeah.
So
all of those are really great personal goals. So that's your A. Any tasks that relate to your big goals. Your B is those things that have to get done, but they don't necessarily relate to your goals. Things like cooking dinner or picking up the kids. Like, can't leave the kids anywhere. Gotta pick them up.
That is a good one. For sure.
Any work items that appear, it's something that has to get done every week. So those are your B's.
Yeah, another B for me is planning the meals for the week. For me, that really helps me. So.
Yeah, planning meals helps a lot. And then the C's are those things that you'd like to get done, but they're not a huge goal right now. They're those things that exist in dreamland that we're like, I'm going to declutter the kitchen.
Right, they're things that can go, if it gets moved to another week, it's not going to hurt anything.
Exactly.
Right? They're the things that you can like, okay, didn't get to it this week, going to try to work on it next week.
And then I actually didn't mention one more category, the D's, which are delegate. If you see something on your list that you're like, I don't have to do this, you can delegate it to someone else.
There's a way to get around this.
Yeah.
We'll talk a lot more about that.
So once you have your list of A's, B's, C's, and D's, and you're also going to find that a lot of things on your brain dump can be combined into one thing that you have to do. It's just like one thing with multiple steps.
Oh, yeah. I get that a lot.
Which is why categorization is so important, because it helps you take all your mess inside your brain, and it's like a funnel that gets smaller and smaller.
That really helps me because I easily get overwhelmed by tasks. And I think that happens to a lot of people, especially people that have like some issues with attention, right? And being able to focus, not so much of the shiny object syndrome or squirrel. But yeah, like when I have a lot of things to do and I think, oh my God, I have 15 things to do today. There's just no way I can do it. And then I just lose all motivation and it's done. It's done. Because now I'm overwhelmed and I just want to go sit on the couch, curl up under a blanket and just eat popcorn all day.
Yeah. Mine is cereal. I'll go for that Raisin Bran Crunch and I grab it out of the box by the handful. Like, I will admit this freely. When I get stressed, I'm like, ooh, Raisin Bran Crunch. And I've done this ever since I was a college student.
But yeah, so when you dump it and you look at it all on paper and you can say, oh my gosh, I have 15 things to do, but 5 of them are all related to one thing. And if I get that one thing done, a third of my list is gone.
Exactly.
It's really awesome.
It's freeing. It's
really
freeing.
cool.
And then you go to the calendar. And we give about 10 minutes to plot all these on the calendar. And what you're going to do is, I like to use Google Calendar because then it connects directly to my cell phone so I can pull up my calendar wherever I am. But I'll start blocking it out. And those A's go on the calendar for the week first to make sure that I schedule time for them. They're usually the first things in my week. I'll do like Monday, Tuesday. Those will be where I plan my A tasks because that's where I have the most energy. And then if for some reason, if something comes up during those days, I can bump those A tasks down to the rest of the week.
See, that's smart because when I try to put stuff at the end, I tend to do that too for the exact same reason. Didn't get it done now I've got more time. And that's a big thing to show our kids, right?
Yeah.
Like to teach them that, okay, life happens sometimes. We give our kids grace when things don't happen according to schedule. We try to help them through that frustration when things don't work the way they want it to be. So give yourself that same grace and like realize that, all right, I'm going to put the tough stuff, or like people like talk about like, what is it? Eating your frog?
Yeah. Eat the frog.
Yeah.
It's a Mark Twain quote.
Yeah. So it's like, eat your frog first, the thing you don't want to do. And then that way you can get to the fun stuff. But again, if you put it at the beginning of the week, things pop up, whatever, you lose some motivation, you got other days to get it done.
Yep. And when you plan it out, I always like to give time and a half to every task. So if you think a task is going to take an hour, I put an hour and a half on there. And also, after the task, put some buffer time. So nothing is scheduled back to back to back to back, because that is a recipe for disaster. Put at least 30 minutes in between all of your tasks, because that's more realistic of what will get done. We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Brie, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes, Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week, featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays, because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week, we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250
NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM.
And I think that is also gold right there.
Yeah.
Because again, every time there's got to be other people like me in the world that think that they can get everything done in that small amount of time. Like, people that are like, are you chronically late all the time to everything? Raise your hand out there in podcast land. If you are, you probably suffer from Bree's same ailment of, I can do 100 things in 1 minute.
Well, it's true. I think a lot of people are like that. Because it's like, if something isn't now, it doesn't have to be done now. So even now corresponds to an hour. Well, I have to go do this in an hour, but that's not now. So I could fit in all these things.
I know.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are like that for sure.
Yeah.
And then once you did your brain dump, you did your categorizing, you plotted them in your calendar with your buffer time. Some things to keep in mind though, right after this.
So what is step 3, Joanne?
So we've actually gone through all of our steps. So now we have some guidelines.
Oh, they're guidelines? They're not
guidelines.
actually rules?
They're guidelines. I think of Mike Myers. They're guidelines. I have my pinky to my mouth right now, by the way.
See, and I went totally Pirates of the Caribbean with that.
Oh, really? Oh, I can see Johnny
They're
Depp
more
in there.
like guidelines than actual rules.
I'm always Dr. Evil. That's all I can think of. So the first guideline is that you need to set some boundaries in here, because the first thing when you time block is you won't want to honor the time that you blocked in your calendar, especially if it's not with another person. Exercise time. I'm looking at you. It's because it's
Why are you staring at me directly? I'm joking.
Because it's so easy to put ourselves last and put other people first.
True that.
But with this kind of strategy, you have already set the time in your calendar to do it. So just know that that's going to be your tendency. It's going to be your tendency to be like, oh, I don't have to do that right now. It's fine. Something that helps me is like if I can connect the task in a way that I am accountable to another person. That helps a lot with my work. Like if I have a work task I have to get done and I have a time, well, I'm like, well, if I don't get this done, then Bree can't do the next step of the process. So I have to get this done.
That is one thing that has been very productive for the two of us.
Yes.
Both of us recognizing when our step affects somebody else's step.
Yes. And you could think of this too for like, I don't know, exercise. If I don't go exercise, I am a rage fest. I cannot control my emotions. I just can't. And I go into anxiety mode, and I'm such a better, calmer person if I just do like a 10-minute workout. That's all I need.
I 100% agree with that. That's funny. I forget what popped up yesterday, but my daughter made a comment. Oh, I know. I was talking about doing another like food cleanse. My daughter's like, please don't do that. I'm like, why? She goes, because every time you do that, you become hungry, cranky mom, and I don't like hungry, cranky mom because we all suffer. But my point of that is that you're right. Like when it's something that is good for you, for your mental health, you are important and you are worth doing that. Now, when it comes to stuff like, exercising, like the way I do that, talking about like the accountability part, I do much better thinking about how, like you just said, like how that affects others. And in my case, specifically, how it affects my dog. Because I take my dog on a walk.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And he's so happy. And just seeing his little tail wag makes me so happy. And then I'm like, okay, fine. I will go for a walk.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gosh, my dog has started like hunting me around the house if I don't go for a walk now. She like follows me around and she looks at me expectantly, and I'm like putting on my shoes and she like sits at me and she wags her tail, and I'm like, oh, I don't have the heart in me to break it to you that we're not doing this right now. But it does. Dogs help a lot with exercise.
Yes. Somebody, like, I saw a picture the other day that said something about how occupation stalker, and it had a picture of a dog, and it's like, ever want to pee alone? Won't ever happen again now.
No. Oh my gosh, peeing. Gosh, I closed the
But that's
bathroom
toddlers
door.
too. Dogs and toddlers.
Yeah, I closed the bathroom door. My dog whines outside of it, and I'm like, "What in the world? My kids are grown. How is this happening?"
Mine breathes into the door. He'll go, and you're like, okay, I knew you were there. You didn't need to do that. And then he'll go again.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, stop. You're making me nervous, making me pee slower.
There's another podcast episode dealing with your codependent pet.
Yes.
And the second guideline is that you don't have to do all this stuff. This goes under the delegating. You can subcontract it.
Oh my gosh.
You can give it to someone else.
If you don't get anything else from us here at No Guilt Mom, do you get that subcontracting is totally legit?
Mm-hmm. And it's also okay to say like you can't do everything. I try a lot, especially with this recent move. Like our routine has been off, and so I've been taking on a lot more of the meal prep. And it's been wearing on me. I could tell like I'm cranky. And so I went to my husband and I'm like, yeah, I can't keep up with this. We need to figure out something that you're helping to with the meal prep, or we're doing something else. And so we're sitting down and trying to figure out how he can contribute to that, or maybe how he can just clean up everything like after it,
whatever it is, like, right, like it's
Yeah.
all about having a collaborative problem solving thing. So like subcontracting, if you have no idea how to do it, start with a conversation.
Yes.
Right, with your family, like, hey guys, I am just overwhelmed. And I would even say, like, if you're listening to this right now in real time, it's summer probably.
Yes.
Or close to summer break where you're at. Like, raise your hand if your house becomes a monstrosity all summer long because everybody's home.
And the overwhelm is so real during the summer, especially, well, also if you work at home or if you don't work at home, it's hard to set boundaries when your kids' schedules change and if they're home. Like I find I am a mess when I don't get my structured thinking, like time I can stay focused on a task. Like if you're interrupted every 5 minutes, that wreaks havoc on your patience. It wreaks havoc on your self-control. And you'll find at the end of the day that you're just snapping at people.
Isn't that a form of torture?
It's the distraction.
Like,
yeah.
where they keep like, nope, don't fall asleep. Nope, you gotta stay awake. Like so.
And even if you set those guidelines, if you see people like, oh, you have to set strict guidelines with kids and like they can't interrupt you. Well, yeah, but man, kids find a way in through those guidelines, especially your own children. As a teacher, I could enforce it so much better with not my own kids.
Well, I think that's how everybody is. It's your own kids. But I mean, so having those guidelines, those are really great. And what are some really easy things that we can subcontract in our home?
House cleaning is a great thing to subcontract.
It is. Like if you can find a way to swing that in the budget, it is phenomenal.
It is a huge guilt thing, though, especially for women. I mean, when I used to go to Weight Watchers, which I do not anymore, but it was taught by an older woman, and she was complaining about today's generation has other people cleaning their houses, and they don't get the exercise of cleaning their house, and like. I know Bree's looking at me.
What kind of house cleaning
She's
did
like,
she have?
I don't know.
That was her exercise.
I don't know, but it's like there's guilt about house cleaning everywhere. And then at Six Flags, okay, this is really random, but I have to say that it brought up all this guilt with me. At Six Flags, I was talking to a woman who was cleaning the restroom, and she said, oh yeah, today's kids, they don't know how to clean, and that's what's wrong. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a house cleaner My kids aren't learning how to clean. Oh my gosh, I need to like stop that. And then I think about it and I'm like, wait a minute. How did kids learn how to clean in the past? Oh, the mom took off all of her time and taught the kids. And now like it's changed our expectations of women in society, especially how women weren't encouraged to pursue professional goals in the 80s when we were growing up. Like, not so much. It really changed when we were born, and it's still changing. And so when we see an older generation telling us that kids don't know how to clean, well, there's been a change in our society, and they don't have those teachers in us anymore, which is good. It's a good progress, but it's also like, how do you solve that problem, and how do you not put the guilt on all the women for that problem?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No, it's not just your job, but you know a great way to do that? That also does the subcontracting. Talk to your family. Have everybody take on a task in the household. We have podcasts where we talk about like how to help your kids learn to do those things. Because trust me, Bree learned the hard way. You can't just tell your kid it's your job to clean the bathroom and expect for that bathroom to get cleaned.
Yeah. No, in fact, our class, 5 mistakes that are keeping your family from helping out, we dig into that some more too, and how to do that.
But I mean, like some really quick last couple things I'm going to throw out to you guys for subcontracting. You can order your groceries online.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of places that's free to do if you order over $50.
Or it's like $5.
Well,
it's not that. It's not substantial.
I always get it free at the one we do it because we always order enough groceries. But we also have a family of 5, so you know. But you can also like put your meds on auto refill if you have medications, so that way you don't have to go anywhere. I love the mail meds. You just put it and they mail it to you.
Express
I love
scripts.
anything I can get mailed to me and avoid going out.
You can hire a pool person.
Oh yeah, that's another good
And
one.
don't do your pool, which I mean, I've tried doing my pool. It's green within 3 days. I don't know what is. I don't know. Something just doesn't click with me.
No,
in pool care.
that's why I moved to a neighborhood where we had a community pool and Bree don't have to take care of it
We
anymore.
don't have a pool right now. It's not really nice.
Another one that I do love is I'm still using that hamper. You've heard us talk about it a few times. I love Hamper still. It's like Uber for your laundry.
You put it outside your door and it comes back to you folded and clean. I mean,
know,
it's
right?
amazing.
You don't have to do anything but put it away. It's so
Yeah.
easy. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do to free up some of that time for yourself that on the things that you don't really have to do. Take a good hard look at it. Chances are there are things you're doing that you don't really have to.
And that especially if you're working within a budget, depending on, this is something that my husband tells me all the time. He's like, money has no emotional value. Money is a tool. It's a tool. So if you have space where you can afford a hamper, think about what you can do with that time that you just freed up and how you can create opportunity for yourself.
Yeah, and if you're
with that
anything
money.
like me, that's like half of your day.
Yeah.
Doing
yeah.
laundry for,
Half of your day. What could you do with half of your day?
Even if I'm just doing mine and my husband's, my kids are doing their own, that's still 3 loads right there.
Yeah.
So anyway, it helps.
So
a lot.
subcontract as much as you can. So are you ready to take on time blocking? Like, please tell us. Please tell us. And if
Have
you're
we converted you?
Yes. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we would love a review, and we'd love any shares you can do of the No Guilt Mom podcast. Tell everyone you know. Our goal is to grow this podcast in a big, big way. You're going to be hearing a lot more about that in the month of July. We have some fun things planned.
Whoop, whoop.
And until next time, remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by. Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday who was pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.